Hello, everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 499, The House on Blackthorn Lane. Intermediate. The old house on Blackthorn Lane stood alone, its windows dark and broken, like eyes watching the empty street. Nobody in the village went near it. They said it was cursed, that anyone who entered never came out the same. But Tom, a young man new to the village, didn't believe in ghost stories. He was curious, and the house called to him. One cold October evening, Tom decided to explore. The wind howled as he pushed open the creaky gate. The air felt heavy and the smell of damp wood filled his nose. He stepped onto the porch and the floor groaned under his boots. The front door was ajar, inviting him inside. With his torch in hand, he crossed the threshold. Inside, the house was silent, except for a faint dripping sound. His torch beam cut through the darkness, showing dusty furniture and cobwebs. The wallpaper peeled like dead skin. Tom's heart raced, but he told himself it was just an old house, nothing more. He climbed the stairs, each step creaking loudly. On the first floor, he found a locked door. It was different from the others, made of heavy wood with strange carvings, like twisted faces screaming. Tom's hands shook as he touched the door. To his surprise, it clicked and swung open. The room inside was small and freezing. A single chair sat in the centre, stained with dark patches. The air smelled of rust and something sour. On the wall, a cracked mirror reflected his pale face. But as he stared, his reflection changed. His eyes turned black and his mouth stretched into a horrible grin. He stumbled back, heart pounding, and the mirror went blank. A low whisper filled the room, like a voice from deep underground. "Stay!" it said. Tom wanted to run, but his legs felt heavy, as if the floor was pulling him down. The dripping sound grew louder, and he saw it now. Thick, red liquid seeping from the ceiling, pooling on the floor. It smelled of blood. He forced himself to move, running down the stairs, but the house seemed to shift. The walls bent inward and the doors vanished. The whispers grew into screams, echoing in his skull. He reached the front door, but it wouldn't open. Something cold touched his neck, a hand, pale and bony with nails like claws. Tom spun around, but no one was there. The air grew thicker and the lights of his torch flickered. Shadows moved on the walls, forming shapes of people with no faces. They reached for him, their fingers stretching like branches. He screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the house. In a panic, he ran to the basement door. It was his only chance. The stairs were wet and slippery, and the smell of decay was overwhelming. At the bottom, he found a stone room lit by a single candle. In the centre was a pile of bones, some still wet with flesh, and there in the corner was a figure, a woman with no eyes, her skin grey and torn. She smiled, showing teeth like needles. "You belong here," she whispered, her voice inside his head. Tom tried to run, but the bones on the floor came alive, wrapping around his legs like vines. They pulled him down, and the woman crawled closer. Her hands tore at his skin, peeling it away as she screamed. Blood poured from his body, mixing with the pool on the floor. His vision faded, but the pain never stopped. The house swallowed his cries, and Blackthorn Lane was silent again. Nobody in the village spoke of Tom after that night. The house stood as it always had, waiting for its next guest. Vocabulary notes. Creaky, adjective. Definition: making a harsh squeaking sound when moved or stepped on, often due to age or wear. Example: the wind howled as he pushed open the creaky gate. Explanation: in the story, creaky describes the gate's sound, adding to the eerie atmosphere by suggesting something old and unsettling. Additional examples: the creaky stairs woke everyone in the house when I went downstairs at night. She hesitated before entering the old barn because of its creaky wooden door. Synonyms: related words. Squeaky, a high-pitched sound, like a creaky door or a mouse. Groaning, a low creaking sound, often used for floors or heavy objects. Rusty can describe a similar sound from an old metal, e.g. a rusty hinge. Note for learners: creaky is often used for old objects like doors, floors, or furniture, and it can create a spooky or tense mood in writing. Threshold, noun. Definition: the point of entry or beginning, often refers to the sill of a doorway or the start of an experience. Example: with his torch in hand, he crossed the threshold. Explanation: here, threshold refers to the physical entrance of the house, symbolizing Tom's transition into danger. It carries both literal and figurative weight. Additional examples: she paused at the threshold of the new school, nervous about her first day. Crossing the threshold into adulthood comes with new responsibilities. Synonyms: related words. Doorway, a physical entrance similar to threshold but less symbolic. Entrance, a general term for a way in, e.g. the entrance to a building. Brink suggests being on the edge of something significant, e.g. the brink of discovery. Note for learners: threshold can be used literally, a physical doorway, or figuratively, a new phase or experience, making it versatile in storytelling. Eerie, adjective. Definition: strange and frightening, often creating a sense of unease or mystery. Example: implied in the story's atmosphere, e.g. the air felt heavy and the smell of damp wood filled his nose. While eerie isn't directly used, the story's mood strongly evokes it, so it's included as a relevant term. Explanation: the story's descriptions, like the heavy air and dark windows, create an eerie feeling. Perfect for a horror setting. Additional examples: the eerie silence in the forest made her feel like she was being watched. The abandoned house had an eerie glow under the moonlight. Synonyms: related words. Spooky, informal, suggesting something mildly scary or ghostly. Unsettling, causing discomfort or unease, e.g. an unsettling noise. Uncanny, strange in a way that feels unnatural or supernatural. Note for learners: eerie is great for describing creepy or mysterious settings. It's stronger than strange, but not as intense as terrifying. Seeping, verb, present participle of seep. Definition: flowing or leaking slowly through small openings, often referring to liquids. Example: the dripping sound grew louder, and he saw it now, thick, red liquid seeping from the ceiling, pooling on the floor. Explanation: seeping describes the slow, ominous movement of the blood-like liquid, enhancing the gruesome horror of the scene. Additional examples: water was seeping through the cracks in the old dam, threatening to break it. The smell of gasoline was seeping into the car from a leak in the tank. Synonyms: related words. Oozing, similar to seeping but suggests a thicker or slower flow, e.g. oozing mud. Leaking, a more general term for liquid escaping, e.g. a leaking pipe. Trickling, a light, steady flow, often less ominous than seeping, e.g. a trickling stream. Note for learners: Seeping often implies a slow, steady movement, and in horror, it's used to describe unsettling things like blood or slime. Decay. Noun. Definition. The process of rotting or breaking down, especially of organic matter, can also mean decline or deterioration. Example, the stairs were wet and slippery, and the smell of decay was overwhelming. Explanation. Decay in the story refers to the rotting smell in the basement, contributing to the gruesome and horrifying atmosphere. Additional examples. The smell of decay came from the pile of forgotten fruit in the cellar. The old building was in a state of decay with crumbling walls and broken windows. Synonyms related words. Rot. Similar to decay, often used for organic material breaking down. Decomposition. A more scientific term for the process of decay. Deterioration. A broader term for things getting worse, e.g. the deterioration of a house. Note for learners, decay can describe physical rot, like food or wood, or figuratively decline, like a society. It's a strong word for horror or Gothic settings. Gruesome, adjective. Definition. Causing horror or disgust, often due to violence, blood, or injury. Example, implied in the ending, e.g., her hands tore at his skin, peeling it away as he screamed. The word gruesome fits the story's climax, though not directly used. Explanation. The story's ending, with skin being torn and blood pooling, is gruesome, evoking strong disgust and horror. Additional examples. The horror movie was so gruesome that I had to cover my eyes during the violent scenes. The detective described the crime scene as gruesome, with blood everywhere. Synonyms related words. Horrific, extremely shocking or terrifying, e.g. a horrific accident. Ghastly, similar to gruesome but can also mean pale or ghostly, e.g. a ghastly sight. Macabre, disturbing and related to death, e.g. a macabre painting. Note for learners, gruesome is a powerful word for describing violent or gory scenes, common in horror stories or crime reports. Story written by Grok 3 AI. Image created by Grok 3 AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.